I'll take hypocrisy for 340 million, Alex. Yeah, guys, now we're just doing the same LA riot thing about immigration, only this time with DC crime. And oh, the same actors are lining up to say even more stupid hypocrisy, even worse than the due process stuff we saw before. I know, red flag laws, and now we've got stats. It's a whole thing. But fear not, I am here to guide you through the crazy and the liberalism that is only infecting the minds of about half the country. So luckily, we're going to get through it together towards the horizon of freedom. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. YouTube is up to their old games, and only you can stop the censorship that comes from the algorithm itself. Put your finger right squarely in the eye of the YouTube algorithm censorship button pusher, and make sure you hit that like button, leave some emojis, and let's get it. All right, people, listen. We got to jump right over here and talk about this whole federalization of the DC police thing. Oh, it's a spicy one. X, Braden, LOA, jump on there. Okay. As you guys are fully aware, Trump made an announcement and the left immediately jumps to emotional irrationalism. I'm shocked, you're shocked, we're all shocked. We're not shocked. But the topic around what they're focusing on and the points that they're bringing up as evidence of why they don't need to do this is a little hypocritical and ironic when you look at all the things they tell us about gun control, and our pesky gun rights, that Second Amendment thing. Yeah, we're going to walk through that whole thing. Little disclaimer, I'm not for federalization of a police force underneath the federal control whatsoever. Just so we can get that out there. Okay, let's get in here. Let me show you this. So as you are fully aware, or if you're not, you're about to be, Trump has announced a federal takeover of DC police, and I don't care about the China tariff thing. Here's what the Trumpster actually said, and this is what caused minds all over the spectrum of the left to implode instantly. The guy has a gift. Let's get it.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be...
Okay, that's the thing that set everyone's hair on fire today. Don't worry, there'll be another thing tomorrow, and we'll be right here to cover it. All right, I don't like the idea, in general, nationwide, of a federalized, centralized police force, like a Canadian centralized police force, or an Illinois statewide police, or any other entity like that that is centrally controlled. I don't like that idea across the board. DC is a completely separate animal. Get into that at a different time. But the point is, this is something that is bringing out some very interesting concepts on the left about reasoning why they don't need it. Now, keep in mind, they tell us that we don't need those pesky gun rights that we have simply because it's too scary. The stats, oh my God, could you imagine how bad it would be if something bad happened? But the stats and the murders and the death rates and all that's falling off a cliff. That doesn't matter. Why do you hate everything living? Oh, why do you have blood on your hands? Okay, you get the idea, right? Well, as we go back into this, I want to show you some things. So I'm going to show you what the new talking point is. And this is the really fascinating part, because a lot of the times it's not the story that's the interesting and fascinating thing. It's the outcome. It's the reaction. Here's some quick little, basically, let's just say a montage of a bunch of reactions, because the talking points clearly went out last night. 30-year low, down an additional 26%. Crime, down 35% in D.C., 25% from last year. 30-year low, 30-year low, 30-year low, 30-year low, 25% down, 22% in June. 30-year low, 20% again, 30-year low. MAGA doesn't care about facts. Guys, the talking points clearly went out in a big email, okay? But here's the bottom line, the reason that I'm doing this video. These people right here. The gun control organizations openly say that we should not have our gun rights because it creates crime. And when you say that we don't have any kind of rising crime, we actually have falling crime, they just shift their talking points to saying, well, more guns in a society means more crime. Okay, well, that's not borne out by statistics. Why do you hate people? Why do you hate me? Why do you hate minorities? Why do you hate this, that, and the other? That's what they always do. But when you look at a federalization of the DC police force, all of a sudden, crime statistics are the most important thing, and we don't need to be making up more laws or more policing or more federalization of policing because we don't have the statistical support for that measure. You see the hypocrisy? It doesn't make sense on its face. Don't worry, we're going to dive into what Brady's saying. Actually, no, I want to read that real quick. Gun control group that wants to throw people in federal prison for putting a pistol grip on a semi-automatic rifle complains about over-policing. Well said. This is what they said from Braden. Again, gun control group. Trump's narrative about D.C. is not based in reality or in facts. Violent crime, including crimes involving firearms, has fallen precipitously since 2023, and we're at a 30-year low the day the president returned to the Oval Office. So I guess you're going to stop calling for gun control then. Oh, you're not? That's weird. Why would you not call for more? Why would you call for a stopping of gun control if everything is falling off of a cliff like this? A precipitous decline, as you say. So why is there no push to get rid of all the gun control proposals? Awkward. Let's keep on going. That fall is directly attributable to recent policy efforts to reduce violence, including increased investment in community-based violence intervention work being done by local D.C. residents and organizations. Nah, it's still a cesspool and one of the most violent places in the United States. Even if it's falling from a peak. Anyway, we cannot allow the president to use armed intimidation and over-policing to further exploit D.C. residents, who already have no congressional representation. That's because it's a district. There's a reason. And continue his dangerous march to authoritarianism. We cannot allow the president to suggest that federalized police is an appropriate response to any and all challenges. Yeah, these are the same people who told you couldn't go outside, you couldn't say things on Facebook, you got shadow banned on X at the request of the government, you shouldn't have your gun rights because criminals do bad things, even though statistics are falling with gun crime and murders and homicides and suicides. All of that's falling, you still can't have gun rights, we still need common sense gun reform. But then the second that something happens that they don't like, all of a sudden they can lean on statistics and rationality and a decentralization push, all of a sudden magically. I'm all for centralization and taking away rights until I'm not. Good God. Again, they haven't pulled back from any of their other positions. But this one, though, oh, it's so bad. Guys, the reason I'm doing this is because the hypocrisy is rife. Anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's keep on going. Got a little clip from Baltimore, Mayor of Baltimore. Again, this is the same guy, if you were paying attention, that did a video on... I did a video on him saying that they got rid of all the gun crime without doing any more gun control. That was an interesting one. Actually, I'm going to cut it a little short because I don't want to go through that. Let's look at how they're freaking out here. This is what they're saying on CNN about this.
Getting reaction from D.C. council members.
We are, Pamela and Wolf. This coming into CNN from Council Member Charles Allen of the 6th Ward in D.C. His post is, quote, the president taking over local control of MPD and putting the U.S. military onto the streets of D.C. under the guise of public safety is wrong. It's an extreme, outrageous, and dangerous move for our city and the safety of all of our residents. He's the first city council member.
I don't care. Under the guise of public safety. That sounds really familiar. Like taking the rights of 340 million people, past, present, and future, on the guise of public safety. That's their main push. Their main push on the left, on the gun control side, is I'm going to take your rights. You're going to purchase safety from me by giving you your rights for control. That is literally why DC has some of the highest gun control in the nation. And yet they still have some of the worst gun crime, as they would call it, in the nation. But don't worry, don't let facts get in the way. Don't let the exact same thing that you always spew be used against you, because now you don't care anymore. You see the game? It's truly remarkable. All right, I got one more for you. This guy is such a... I don't like this guy at all. Jamie Raskin, this is a representative. Remember when he was going down the road of immigration and he was outraged about that, and he was basically saying that everyone deserves due process even though he still supported red flag laws? Remember that? How red flag or due process was all in vogue on the Democrats, including Jamie Raskin, and all of a sudden magically, but after red flag laws, they aren't. This entire thing is hypocrisy based. All right. Now he's got a new one. Listen to this.
But people don't always feel the statistics, right? Do you, as someone who, works in the District of Columbia, you drive through it all the time, you know a lot of people who live here all the time, do you feel like crime is down in D.C. compared to other more recent years?
Well, definitely when you compare it to other periods in the history of Washington, D.C., when there was very serious spikes in crime, and it felt really dangerous to go out. But look, I agree. You can't feel safe enough, especially these days. The question is who you trust to promote your security.
Boom. Ding, ding, ding. Thanks, Jamie. You can never be safe enough. Huh. That's funny because safety in the issuance of perceived safety is what they use to take our gun rights from us and the rest of our rights as well if they pose a threat to their control. So you can never be safe enough. But the question is, who are you going to trust to have that control? Hey, answer from a guy on the internet. No one. That's why we have our rights. That's why we have the ability to ensure our own safety and our own freedoms through things like that pesky Second Amendment that you hate so much, Representative Jamie Raskin. It's not a question of you can never be too safe. No. Dangerous freedom is what we have. I would rather have a dangerous freedom than a complete safety of slavery, or slavery of safety, probably a better way to say it. That's what they're offering. I personally found the hypocrisy royally amazing. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.